예, 안녕하십니까 여러분. 반갑습니다. 예, 아침 일찍 멀리서 오신다고 너무 감사드리고요. 자, 이제 시작 10분 전입니다. 그래서 좀 장례 정리를 하도록 하겠습니다. 일단 오신 분들 앞쪽 자리부터 채워주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. 인솔로 오신 분들 꼭 좀 안내해 주시고요. 예, 무대를 바라봤을 때 왼쪽 자리가 좀 많이 비어 있으니까요. 왼쪽 자리부터 무대를 바라보고 왼쪽 편부터 저 앞쪽 자리 좀 채워주시면 감사하겠습니다. 자, 그리고 몇 가지 협조 사항을 안내드리겠습니다. 행사 중간에 여러분들 핸드폰 매너 아시죠? 네, 진동 또는 전원을 꺼주시면 감사드리겠습니다. 그리고 여러분들 자리에 있는 통역기기는 나가실 땐 반드시 제자리에 두시거나 스태프들에게 꼭 반납을 해주시고 가지고 나가지 않도록 여러분들 협조 부탁드리겠습니다. 자, 우리 인솔하시는 분들은 앞쪽 자리부터 채울 수 있도록 좀 안내 부탁드리겠습니다. 자, 우리 지구본부 공직자님들 좀 안내 좀 부탁드리겠습니다. 실내 안내 부탁드리겠습니다.
평화로운 세상. 전쟁과 다툼 없이 온 세계가 사랑을 나누며 사는 그런 세상을 만들고 싶습니다. 평화로운 세계를 꿈꾸는 것이 거창한 일인가요? 아직도 세상에는 많은 문제들이 발생합니다. 개인의 힘만으로는 해결하기 어렵습니다. 그러나 작은 문제들부터 해결하고자 노력한다면 세상은 조금씩 변화할 수 있습니다. 여기에 작은 변화를 통해 세상을 바꿔나가고자 하는 이들이 있습니다. 그들만의 언어로 그들만의 생각을 표현함으로써 사회 발전에 시너지 효과를 일으키는 청년 학생들입니다. 미래를 만들어가는 중심은 청년입니다. 시너지는 청년의 도전과 실천을 응원합니다. 평화와 지속적 발전에 기여하는 청년들의 행동. 2022 시너지 인터내셔널 지금 개최됩니다. 세상을 바꾸는 첫걸음 시너지에서 시작하세요.
네, 2022 세계 시너지 대회 오신
Welcome
것을
to
진심으로
Synergy
환영합니다.
International 2022.
네, 저희는 오늘 사회를 맡은 이유정,
My name is Yujin Lee, and I am Huang, and will be the MC for today's event. Please let's give a big round of applause to Cheondora team from Sunjung Middle and High School who performed for us Samulnori, a wonderful Korean traditional percussion music.
네, 여러분 여기 화면들 보이실까요?
Can you see the screens here?
네, 오늘 한국과
Today,
해외 각
we have
지역에서도
participants who
양방향으로
joined the
참석해
event
주셨습니다.
online both from Korea and overseas. And we have with us youth here in the event hall who gather from
네, 이
all
자리에
around
기대해
Korea.
주신 여러분, 진심으로
Thank you to
만나서
everyone
반갑습니다.
for their
우리 양옆에
participation.
계시는 분들과 생방송으로 연결된 분들까지 서로 손을
Shall we
들면서
greet
인사
each other
나눠볼까요?
who are both here
안녕하세요.
physically as well as joining us online? Hello everyone. 안녕하세요. Konnichiwa. Bonjour. Hola.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much.
그럼 이번 행사 시작에 앞서
Before we start this event, we'll invite up President of YSP Korea, Dong-Hyun Kim, for his welcoming address.
해주시길 바랍니다.
Please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Peace designers from around the world. Good morning. Overseas, it's afternoon. Bonjour. The last one was French. From around the world, I would like to welcome everyone. And we are here in Korea, in the City of Peace, in the Hyojeong Cultural Center in Gapyeong. And we are now here for the 4th Synergy International 2022 with the theme of Youth in Action for Peace and Sustainable Development. I would like to warmly welcome everyone in attendance. As I mentioned before, the entire world is participating here with us, from Korea, Japan, Asia, Europe, Africa, North and South America, Latin America are all participating. We are all participating and we have interpretation in Korean, English, Spanish, French, and Japanese. Let us wave hands and greet everyone in attendance here today. Welcome everyone. Thanks for attending. As I want to mention, synergy is the energy of the youth and students gathering together to create this synergy for the sake of realizing a world of peace. Creative ideas from youth and students, and the implementation of these ideas is what's creating this synergy. Today we are in 2022. We have a special synergy contest. This is the final. We are in the finals, and we've had regional contests, and all the finalists have all come to Korea. They've taken planes for 20 hours and come all the way to Korea. And Mr. Kengo, he's not Korean, but he's been working for the sake of peace in the Korean Peninsula, and he is leading a campaign to establish a peace park in the DMZ. And also we have a cook, Mrs. Andrea from Machu Picchu, and she wants to overcome illiteracy. And also, do you know the movie Moana from South Pacific, from Samoa? We have Betoepa. She majors in international relations, and she wants to get rid of the stress and also the depression of students, and bringing together the use of renewable energy. And from Korea, Mrs. Park Poyong wants to overcome the discrimination of youth and students in Korean society. She's mentoring many students, and unfortunately, because of visa issues, there was a student from DR Congo who couldn't come, but he's operating an IT company. His name is Octave, and right now in Qatar there's the World Cup, and he wants to use the power of football to solve youth issues. You will all be able to listen to the presentations in person. Today the presenters are all alone, but They have large teams working together, and they are working with organizations to solve these issues. Today they will present for about 7 minutes, but they must have stayed up all night, and also this is the outcome of several years worth of endeavors. These are really amazing and incredible youth and students, and let us give them a round of applause to congratulate them on making the finals, but also for coming all the way to Korea. Thank you very much. And as you're all aware, the world is moving thanks to the power of the youth, and the world is moving forward thanks to the youth. And the power of the youth lies in their future, and I believe that the really power of the youth lies in their vision for the future. And for example, Steve Jobs, when he was before founding Apple, he also quit university, dropped out, and he launched Apple. And also Bill Gates, he quit, he dropped out of college, and he launched his company in his house garage. So in 2,000 years ago, Jesus also went to Jerusalem, and he spoke against those who walked against heaven's will. So until now, since the Cold War, we can see that YSP has been working tirelessly, and the Reverend Sun Myung-moon and Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon, they founded YSP, and at the age of 16, they dedicated themselves to realizing a life for the sake of heaven, and they made a firm resolve to attend the Heavenly Parent and lead the providence of God. And all these changes do not happen overnight. This start begins here in our youth. And today, the 5 projects and 5 presenters are worthy of your remembrance, because we feel that through this work, the world will change for the better. And I hope that you can all courageously join these initiatives. And these challenges are for the sake of others, for the sake of the world. This can be our calling. This can be the voice of heaven. And I want to call God, the Heavenly Parent, the voice of Heavenly Parent. Even if we cannot hear it directly, we can feel it in our hearts. And therefore, God, the Heavenly Parent, hopes that we can lead lives centered on Heavenly Parent. And therefore, in 2023, I hope that you can all become the heroes of Synergy 2023. Lastly, right here, 5 years ago, YSP was founded, and Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon founded YSP. And today we can see the fruits of Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon's launch of YSP. And thanks to Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon, because of her love and her investment, this incredible opportunity was created. Let us give a round of applause to thank the founder of YSP, Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon. Thank you very much. Furthermore, we have been able to host today's Synergy thanks to Dr. Yoon Young-ho, who has been supporting internally and externally, Dr. Yoon Young-ho, the International Director General for Family Federation for World Peace and Unification. Beloved peace-loving peace designers, lastly, I would like to ask you to all thank you and welcome you for attending Synergy International 2022. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Kim Dong-yeon, President of YSP Korea, for your inspiring message. Next, we will now have words of encouragement, and this person is the person who loves YSP most and has been encouraging YSP the most. He is a youth. Let us welcome Dr. Yoon Young-ho, International Director General for Family Federation for World Peace and Unification International Headquarters. Let us welcome Dr. Yoon with a warm round of applause. Good morning, everyone. Beloved YSP leaders, youth and student leaders from around the world. Once again, I would like to congratulate you and sincerely welcome everyone to Synergy International 2022. And in Korea, we have youth and students who worry about the future of the nation. About 800 Korean students are here, and about 1,000 have joined through the two-way live stream, and many more thousands are participating, watching live. I would like to sincerely welcome you. Isn't it wonderful to be here? I need to give words of encouragement, but I do not know who I'm supposed to encourage, whether I should encourage the 5 finalists, but before having the 5 finalists, there were regional synergy contests, and the finalists came all the way to Korea. And the continental winners are in Korea. I want to encourage them, but also I wanted to mention that synergy is becoming a great icon for the youth. I would like to congratulate you. Do you know the meaning of the word synergy? Isn't it? Synergy, when we say 1 plus 1 equals 2, when two become one, they provide creative cooperation. These days it's not easy to find synergy where two people cooperate, because these days competition is aimed at survival, but really mutual cooperation is difficult to find. The synergy refers to mutual cooperation, but there are cases when 1 plus 1 equals 1, so it is the opposite of synergy. It is the Ringelmann effect. But of course, when we speak of synergy, we have synergy, but S for students, youth and students, and also I means ideas. So the ideas about the life, about the future from students, and but also I want to also suggest an ideal. So for example, future ideals, lofty ideals, and then we have energy. So the ideas of youth and students and their hopes for the future, their ideals for the future, manifest themselves into a tremendous energy for change. And the reason I find this particularly meaningful, I would like to give you an example. I am also the Director General of Family Federation and the UPF, but the founder, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, she founded and launched Youth and Students for Peace, and she is known as the Mother of Peace. And once, after hearing the founder's words, I toured the world, and I went to Africa, and of course today there is a presentation from DR Congo, and when I go to Africa it usually takes 20 to 28 hours, and recently I went on a 1 night 4 day schedule. So I spent 1 night locally and I spent 4 days in the plane, and I visited Senegal, and I also visited the nation of Niger. But in Niger, there is a large desert, the Sahel and the Sahara Desert. The environment is not very easy, but what's ironic is that if you take a plane straight from Senegal to Niger, it's only 3 hours. But to go, you need to go through transit through Europe. And I went to Niger, and the current president is a professor of philosophy. He majored in education also, and his name is Mohamed Bazoum. And after meeting him, I congratulated him on becoming the new president, and I conveyed the Mother of Peace's message. But the president spoke to me, and he said that Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, when she visited in 2019, we held the continental level summit, and many heads of state, ministers, and parliamentarians gathered at that time. and one of the projects discussed at the time was the Heavenly Africa project. It was the process to finding the creator and finding the creator as the heavenly parent. This was the Heavenly Africa project, and one pillar of that project was the youth project. And 70% of Africa's population is the youth. And when we speak of youth, mid-age, and elderly age, we need to think about the future. And Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon feels that the youth are not just young people, but they are the owners of the future. They are the heroes of the future. And that's why the Heavenly Africa Youth Project was very important, very meaningful. When I met President Bazoum, what he said that really 70% of Niger's population is youth. However, a good majority of youth, they are kidnapped or kidnapped by terrorist organizations from like ISIS, and it's about $500, about 600,000 won. And in Niger, this is a large sum of money. So these young people, they are sold into terrorist organizations, and because of that, the family has difficulties surviving, and that's why young girls are married early, maybe at the age of 13, 14, and at the age of 15, they already have a child. About 60 to 70% of the youth have children, and even before becoming middle school students, they cannot even go to school. They have children, and they're not even living in a good environment. It's a very difficult situation, but what's more difficult is they can overcome the environmental challenges, but they do not have a dream or a hope for the future. They cannot have a hope for the future, and this is a great despair for these young people. And President Bazoum, with in a tearful voice, he said during his term he wants to give a dream to young people. He wants to discuss this, and with the vision of Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon, we want to move together. And he shared these words with me. And I said, after meeting you, Mr. President, you really feel like the parent of this nation, and this heart really will help the students to become the heroes of the future, become the true owner of the nation, and they can become the true citizens of the nation. And Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon really spoke about becoming the true owner, the true parent, and the true teacher. Let us work together on this, and we agreed on this project. And in August, in Korea, there may be ministers of youth, but in Korea there are no ministries of youth. But in the UAE there is a ministry of youth, and in the majority of African nations, the names might be a bit different, but there are ministries of youth. So there is a Sahara, and Brighi Rafini, he is the executive secretary of these 25 nations, and he said, let us make a model. The youth must have a hope and dream for the future. And when the youth cannot have hopes and dreams for the future, then we cannot have hopes and dreams for the future. So let us invite youth ministers to Korea. And they brought 25 youth ministers and 3 ministers of education to Korea. And we signed an MOU, and on November 4, we signed a contract. And the content is that in 25 African nations, YSP will be registered as an advisory body to the governments of those nations. We want to implement this project, and we wanted to give hopes and dreams to youth. There's education, there are many programs included, and I want to suggest the synergy as one of those programs. And no matter how much youth may be young, right now the hopes and dreams that they have are the hopes and dreams for the future. And there's no higher or better dream. The fact that young people cannot dream is despair. There is no future. So that is why our founder, Dr. Hak Chahan Moon, she's invested a lot into the youth. We have 42 schools, educational institutions from primary school all the way to graduate school. There's YSP. There are countless youth programs. And in terms of donations, over the past 10 years, she has given more than $100 million in scholarships. And also, Mother founded YSP as the organization that will embody the youth movement for a youth movement, and it's also been registered in the United Nations, and it will play an important role into bringing about change in the world. And synergy is at the center of some of the initiatives of YSP. So young students are not just giving ideas, but we can really realize a world where young people can dream and share ideas, and we can create a world where the power of the youth manifests itself as a hope for the future. And lastly, there's a poem by Samuel Ullman, and it's called Youth. And what is written, I would like to read. This is a poem that he wrote at the age of 78, and he said, "Youth is not a time of life. It is a state of mind. It is not a matter of rosy cheeks, red lips, and supple knees." Youth does not refer to the physical condition. It is the heart. When the aerials are down and your spirit is covered with the snows of cynicism and the ice of pessimism, then you are grown old, even at 20. But as long as your aerials are up to catch the waves of optimism, there is hope you may die young at 80. So I think there are many youth and students, but if you're pessimistic and cynical, and if you're able to reflect, and if you do not have hopes, dreams for the future, if you're cynical and pessimistic, even at 20, you're old. But through the Synergy International, when these 5 representatives share their hopes and vision, if you're able to feel it as your own story, if you can dream, if you can think about youth and students around the world, if they feel like your friends, your brothers and sisters, if you can dream together, then you truly are a youth. So I hope that you can always maintain the spirit of youth. In many ways, this international competition is not just limiting itself to YSP, but it can become a national and continental platform to solve the problems of the youth. Then Synergy will have fulfilled its mission. I would like to end my words of encouragement here. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you.
Let us give a big round of applause to Dr. Young-ho Yoon, Director General of FFWPU, for encouraging young people around the world with his message of hope. Now we'll have the congratulatory address. This congratulatory address will be presented by President of IAYSP, Mr. Koji Matsuda. Unfortunately, Mr. Matsuda is unable to attend this event in person due to his current world tour schedule, so he has sent a video. Everyone, please let's welcome President Matsuda with a warm round of applause. Wait 1 second. Let us give a big round of applause so that he could hear our big welcome from where he is. Hello, everyone.
2022. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Yoon Yong-ho, Director General of FFWPU IHQ, YSP Korea staff, YSP leaders from all continents for preparing and supporting this event. YSP was founded in 2017 by Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, renowned as Mother Moon, who has promoted a global peace movement. Over the past 5 years, YSP has been promoting character education, volunteer activities, seminars, and youth festivals in cooperation with the government, schools, and other NGOs aimed at fostering youth and students. Through YSP, Mother Moon hopes for young people to become heroes and bright lights to foster aspirations and solve social, national, and global problems. Young people who have participated to peace designer seminars, which aimed at supporting the creation of projects that contribute to solving social problems in various places around the world. In June this year, YSP obtained special consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council. Synergy, the event that provides a platform for youth and students to present their ideas and projects, has been held 83 times in 33 countries with 330 people having presented their project. There are countries such as the Philippines and Peru where Synergy is progressing in cooperation with the government, prefectures, cities, universities, and high schools. I feel hopeful and happy that many Synergy participants, including winners last year, are continuing to work hard on their projects in their respective countries. On this occasion, 5 representatives from USA, DR Congo, Peru, Samoa, and Korea will participate in this event and present their projects. Mr. Kitanaka, a UN official who previously served as an advisor to YSP Japan, emphasized the following 3 points. First, a passion to succeed in the project. Second is to clarify the mission that the activities aim to achieve. And the third is compassion toward people who can benefit from being a part of the project. I hope that the projects that each person presents today with their own passion, mission, and compassion will develop in the future, help many people, and solve social problems. I hope that those who participate in Synergy today and view online will be inspired by the presenters and challenge themselves to take action in creating their own project and participate in the next Synergy. The dreams, passion, and actions of youth can eliminate barriers between nations, ethnic groups, and races, and promote activities that contribute to alleviating social issues and advocating for sustainable development and peace. I sincerely anticipate that today's Synergy will kickstart dreams and hopes for each of the presenters, participants, and viewers that have the potential to be a good starting point for contributing to the realization of a peaceful world. Everyone, all the best. Thank you so much. 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you. Please let us give a big round of applause once again to President of IAYSP, Mr. Koji Matsuda, for his congratulatory address.
네, 이번 대회는 세상에 있는
This competition is to create synergy that will bring changes to the world by solving problems through small actions.
세계 각국의 청년들이 그들의 생각과 행동으로
It is a contest where young people from all over the world present their projects to solve social issues with their thoughts and actions. Today, representatives from a total of 5 continents will be presenting. Some presenters actually spent more than 20 hours to get to Korea. One of the participants told me after arriving in Korea, having dinner together, that he feels like he was still on a plane. Isn't that amazing? It must have been really hard. Huang, you're also from DR Congo, right? Was it difficult when you first came here? It's been a long time since coming to long time ago, but I took more than 20 hours to get to Korea. So people here, the presenters here, had a very similar experiences. Seems that all the presenters had amazing presentations. Another presenter still feels like they're still in the airplane. They arrived a couple days ago, but he kept on saying that he still feels like he's on the plane.
우리 발표자분들 빨리 소개해보고 싶은데
So I will be
이 발표자분들에 대한
showing, introducing the presenters, and we would like to hear from them. But before we introduce them, we would like to introduce the judges who will be judging the presenters. 2 judges are physically here in Korea. First is Dr. Young-ho Yoon, Director General at the FFWP International. Let's give a big round of applause.
네, 다음으로는 공정무역
Second judge is Mr. Hee-sung Hwang, CEO of Sustainable Coffee Lab. Let's give a big round of applause. And from online, we have 3 judges. First is Mr. Koji Matsuda, President of IAYSP. Hello. Second is Cornelia Garanovsky, OYSP President of Moldova in Europe. Hello. Third is Hope Matias Gomez Yamaguchi, President of YSP Central America Region 5. Hello.
네, 이번에 발표해
So there'll be 5 presenters today. The best presenter will receive the grand prize of 2 million won, and there are 2 second prize winners who will receive 1 million won each. Wow, that's a lot. Huang, it seems that you're excited about the prize. Do you really want to win? I heard that you have a presenter who from DR Congo. You should ask him to join his team so you could share the winnings. I'll ask him in my language. He said no. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but yeah, we're gonna.
발표자분들 과연 어떤 발표하실지 많이
So everyone is very excited to hear hear from the presenters. So let's get them introduced. First, we would like to present the first presenter. He's from USA.
힘찬 박수와 함께 모셔볼까요?
He came up with such a brilliant idea to create Peace Park in the DMZ. So let's welcome up Mr. Kengo Kawa.
Hello, my name is Kengo Kawa. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and my focus is turning the DMZ war zone into a global peace park. This is where the DMZ is located. The size is 4 kilometers by 250 kilometers, and in the middle is the military demarcation line running all the way across the peninsula. Our project is turning the entire DMZ war zone into a global peace park, where we want the 5th UN office to be. The strongest proponents of this project have been two individuals, Reverend Seom Moon and Dr. Hak Jahan Moon. Dr. Hak Jahan explains in a recent memoir, in his speech given at the United Nations headquarters in New York in 2000, my husband announced our vision of a peace park in the demilitarized zone. I have recommended that the UN open its 5th office in Korea, specifically in the demilitarized zone on the 38th parallel. This will bring the issue of Korean reunification to the attention of the world's people as no other action can. So as Reverend and Mrs. Moon recommended, we also see the DMZ as a strategic location to establish a 5th UN office to help bring about a peaceful reunification of the Korean Peninsula. So why is building a global peace park at the DMZ significant? We first need to understand the situation of how the DMZ was created. Do you know what divided Korea? It's the ideologies. An example of this war of ideologies was the Korean War. So the Korean War was a war between North Korea and South Korea. Communism is a thought centered on humankind and materialism, not on the unchanging God. So the North represents communism, and the South represents the free democratic nation. The fighting ended on July 27th, 1953, when the Korean Armistice Agreement was signed. This agreement created the DMZ to separate the North and the South. So the two Koreas are still at war. So Korea became the final endpoint of the confrontation of the ideologies of Godism and atheism. So what happened worldwide in the years following the division of North and South Korea shows how the 38th parallel was truly the front line of battle between democracy and communism. Christian values in South Korea declined, and communist values quickly spread its influence. As it stands now, communist countries are not the only ones in danger, but even the democratic countries are losing to this ideology and causing problems like what we see in South Korea with the Christian churches. Young people in South Korea are now leaving their churches. According to the research company Gallup Korea, in 2015, 69% of South Koreans in their 20s had no religious beliefs. This is up from 55% in 2005. So we can observe other growing problems in South Korea caused and influenced by the materialistic and communist ideology. So seeing this situation of Korea, Reverend and Mrs. Moon felt the pain as their own and took action by going to the North directly to address the very concern of creating a godless society, even risking their life to bring hope for the reunification of North and South Korea. They also understood clearly how significant America plays in the success of this project. So the southern half of the DMZ is currently controlled by America. America can initiate and assume the leading position and turn the DMZ into a peace park and ultimately unite the two Koreas by calling on the UN to establish its 5th office in the DMZ. With the peninsula still divided, who ultimately has become the victim of communism and fascism? It's the youth. So the youth has an important role in this project. We know that great history has been made by young people. Now is the time that youth can stand up and make a change. But this mission cannot be done by youth alone. We need to work together with professors who have the knowledge and experience to resolve this conflict. So that's why our mission is to build a platform for righteous professors and youth to initiate the development of a global peace park in the DMZ, a solution for resolving conflict on the Korean Peninsula. So this supports number 16 and 17 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So up to this point, we eagerly made effort to create the groundwork for this project. We traveled to South Korea in 2017 as a youth movement, together with 120 young people holding several rallies on peace and prayer in different locations, including the DMZ and Gwanghwamun. We also held a symposium on the topic of Korean reunification at the National Assembly, which is the Capitol building. Student representatives from Korea, Japan, and America all gave heartwarming speeches for the desire of unification. We had the opportunity to meet together and get connected with Dr. Seung-ho Lee, who is the founder and co-founder and president of the DMZ Forum. and hoping to work with other organizations for similar goals of reunification. So with that, all that has been done, we're working to form this platform to encourage different organizations to work on this project of turning the DMZ into a global peace park. So locally, we established the Professors World Peace Academy as a platform for our professors to work together with passionate young people of the Collegiate Association for the Research of Principles. Once we unite the power of youth together with the professors' knowledge and experience centered on God's heart, we can make anything possible. We'll also work with the Young Christian Leadership Conference to all unite under the same purpose of bringing peace to the peninsula. So as a first big step, on June 25th, we held a unity concert organized by the young people for the purpose of bringing the reunification of North and South Korea. We brought Christian pastors, professors, and the youth, and even challenged to mobilize the media. So it became a great foundation to start on the project to build a global peace park. So one substantial action that we already initiated was collaborating together with a famous gospel artist, Pastor Dietrich Haddon, to record a new song called Light It Up. So if I can kindly ask if you can pull out your phones and scan this QR code, it'll take you directly to YouTube so you can watch our music video. We want to share this to the young people, especially the Korean youth, so that we hope we can continue spreading the awareness of this conflict with your help. Thank you very much for listening to our project and turning the DMZ war zone into a global peace park. We hope we can all work together for realizing a peaceful world. Thank you.
네, 여러분 발표자분께서 미국
He
분이라고
said he
하는데요.
was
한국에 대한
the presenter
이
was from the
나뉘어진
USA, but
DMZ를 어떻게 평화공원으로
he came up with such a brilliant
만들
idea
희망찬
to create a
아이디어를
peace park
더욱
at the
궁금해지는
DMZ
발표였습니다.
that divides the Korean peninsula. It's such an amazing idea. Yeah, that's right. Before the event started, I had a little talk with Kengo, and that he's a wonderful youth, and he has a great vision for peace of the world. The second presenter comes from Dear Congo, where I'm from.
자부심 되게 있으시네요.
It seems like you're very patriotic. Yes, I love my country. His presentation is about football challenge and how to solve problems of the youth through soccer. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to come in person, but he has sent us a video. Let's meet him with a big round of applause and discover how to create synergy with a single ball.
Bonjour à tous. Bonjour
Hello
à toute la
everyone.
communauté IYSP à
Hello
travers
to
le
the
monde.
entire
Je m'appelle
IYSP
Octave
community
Mila de la
around the
République
world. My
démocratique
name is
du
Octave
Congo, en
Mbila
Afrique.
from Democratic
Après être
Republic
passé par le concours
of
synergie nationale,
Congo, Africa.
sous-régional et
After
régional,
passing through the
c'est
national,
une fierté et un
sub-regional,
honneur
and regional
de présenter
competition,
notre projet
it is a
à ce
pride
concours
and
synergie
honor
internationale
to
2022.
present our project to the
Pour ceux
Synergy
qui connaissent pas
International
mon pays,
2022
la RDC est
competition.
située au centre,
For those who do
au
not
cœur
know
même
my
de l'Afrique.
country,
Eh ben, la
the
RDC
DRC is
est
located
dévastée
in the
depuis
center,
plus de
in the
deux
very
décennies
heart of
à
Africa.
l'est du pays.
While the DRC has
Nous voyons
been
des milliers de
devastated for
jeunes
more than 2
qui vivent
decades by
mourir
war
chaque
in the
année.
east of the
Centaines
country.
de milliers.
We see thousands of young and old die every
Dans ce
year.
pays
Hundreds of
qui
thousands
a besoin d'une
have died
jeunesse
so far.
forte,
In this
avisée,
country, which needs
pour
strong,
se redresser
informed
et
youth
espérer
in
se
order to,
développer, nous constatons
in
une
order, of course,
prolifération
to
de
recover
l'enfant
and hope to
Un manque
develop.
d'encadrement
We're
des
seeing proliferation of
Constatons
street
également que ces jeunes qui sont dans les
children,
prisons
a
utilisés
lack
par
of
des
supervision of young
manifestations
people, and these young people have been used in political, tribal, and xenophobic manifestations.
C'est ainsi que nous avons conçu notre projet.
This is how we designed Football Open Challenge.
Football
The
Open
Football
Challenge,
Open
c'est un
Challenge is a
programme
social reintegration
de
program,
réinsertion sociale, un programme d'encadrement,
a youth coaching program, a youth information and training program.
Eh ben, dans le déroulement de ce programme,
In the
nous
course of this
descendons dans
program,
à la rencontre de ces milliers de jeunes qui sont éparpillés.
We travel the streets to meet thousands of young people who are scattered, especially in Lubumbashi, a city located in the south of our country. We take to the street where we organize competition, and this competition lasts on an average of 4 to 6 months, during which there are several programs that are ongoing. During this time, we organize training in entrepreneurship as well as leadership, but also in change of mentality. Beyond these programs, this competition is split into 4 categories of football talents. There's a freestyle football, the kick challenge, goalkeeper challenge, but also the fan challenge. We'll diversify the area of towns to have more young people in the future contests. So all these young people who are around this competition follow these programs for practically 4 to 6 months. We take the opportunity to talk to young people. We tell them that not being in school, not having had the chance to study, does not mean that they have missed out on their life. With their talent, they can reintegrate into society, be stars, or even bring about change in the society. We take the opportunity to inform these young people about what's going on around the world too. The current crisis, COVID-19 pandemic, and always keep social distancing during this 4 to 6 month program. We have a vision, and the vision is to set up a youth training center which take all young people, disadvantaged and advantaged, who have certain talent but are out in the streets, and we will supervise them in our center for a given period before sending them out to be hired by companies. We want to be an entrepreneurship training center in a country where the unemployment rate is very high. We also want to provide young people with technical teams to be able to be successful in life. Because all this open football program is broadcasted in form of reality TV, the real story of these young people is told on local television in partnership with channels which have agreed to support and accompany us. Well, to end my presentation, Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon to change mentalities and transcend differences." And sport is a source of inspiration of surpassing oneself of tolerance and teaching respect among young people. These two elements put together contribute to creating more useful and fraternal world. Organizations such as IAYSP exist to have strong, informed, trained, and challenge-ready youth who may bring peace and tranquility to this world. It is to have this kind of youth at projects like Football Open Challenge are born. Youth is the hope of tomorrow. Thank you. It is a precious time for all of us to take a moment and think about teenagers and young people among our age who are looking on the opposite side of the world. It's a very impressive presentation, right? Thank you very much. As a Congolese myself, I'm very happy to know such a wonderful project for young people exists. Even if I couldn't be part of his team, but because I'm a patriot, I hope he wins the grand prize. Because I'm patriotic. Yes, Huang, it seems that you're not happy that you couldn't join his team. No, I'm okay. Yes. Now we'll meet the third presenter, coming from Peru, South America, with the theme of improving academic standards through reading. It will be presented by Andrea Marisol Renke. It is a presentation about how to elevate the world with the power of books. Let us welcome her with a warm round of applause.
안녕하세요. Hola, soy Marisol, and hola! It is a great and deep pleasure to be standing here today in representation not only of my country, but also of every and each person that has made this project, Biciteca, possible. So Biciteca was born because of a need. So Peru ranked 64th out of 77 countries in the PISA test for reading comprehension. But why is that? Why are we in that situation? There are many problems, but the main ones are, one, there's no reading culture. Two, it is so difficult to access to librarian services. And third, it is so expensive to acquire a book. So that was why Biciteca was born, to reduce these inequities, and so that people could get access to books. And we formed this mobile library to get everywhere, to get to these people in vulnerable situations such as poverty, abandonment, and discrimination. And our mission is to promote reading in unconventional spaces and to democratize access to books, seeking to create a reading community for people in vulnerable situations with a strong bond based on trust. And our vision is to become a Peruvian cultural reference in the field of reading promotion. So our core values are three: trust, service, and commitment. And our objectives are, first, to stimulate the habit of reading, of course, to reevaluate public spaces, and to democratize access to books. So before starting to stimulate the habit of reading, we want to create a reading culture. So it is necessary to change this idea of reading as a mandatory and painful activity, but as an enjoyable one. So that's why we use reading mediation. And mediation has been historically used in context of conflict, whether it's political, economical, social. And reading is not an exemption. So that's why reading mediators are guides for people who want to explore inside this variety of different types of lectures and have a deeper understanding and to relate in a personal level to what they are reading. Second, we want to reevaluate public spaces. We want to break the myth that you can only read on libraries, right? But also, something curious happens in my country. It is that community libraries are closed. And they're supposed to be public spaces for people to use them. And that makes us disappointed, because we're supposed to be able to access to culture, to education. And that's not possible for a lot of people because of that situation. And last but not least, we want to democratize access to books. It happens that in Peru, there's tax exemption for books, but it's still one of the most expensive countries to acquire a book in all Latin America. So we want to, reading is not a habit that belongs only to an elite group of people to have, but that it is a right, that it is a right to access to, a human right to access to education, to information. So that's why we have two branches. First, the reading promotion one with reading mediation by itself, and the trust reinforcement one with book lending for free. And in the reading promotion branch, we have reading mediation. We have 5 programs: Sala Infantil, CREA, Community Library, Reading Club, and Cuéntame. So in Sala Infantil, it's a reading room for children, for them to interact freely with different kinds of material. And we have topics with a variety of the SDGs. In the CREA, we work with children from the community of Pesquera. So they not only read, but they also create their own stories according to their reality. And they use recycled materials and other elements that they can find really easily where they live, such as rocks that are very representative over there. In the reading club, we work with youngsters, and we introduce them to a variety of bibliodiverse material, from the classics to even comics. In the community library, this is a beautiful project that was worked together with women and families. They painted themselves their own library because they felt the need of one. And we donated books and activated this library through reading mediation sessions. And finally, we have also this project that with the elderly. Sadly, most of them are in situations of abandonment, forgotten by their families. So most of the time, they do not have anyone to talk to. So we work with them, they write their stories, and we're thinking of making a fanzine with them. And they also do this kind of book made out of cardboard and recycled material. It was beautiful. So these are the results for the first half of this year. 597 beneficiaries until July. And you can see here a more detail with numbers there. And our projection for this year was 900, but we are already surpassing it. And we're just in November. We still have December, and we're so happy to announce it. So in the next branch, with the book lending activities, we have two main projects, Visiteca Trujillo and Ruta Visiteca. Visiteca Trujillo will lend books for free for people, so they take it. We do not ask for anything. They take it home and they bring it back once they have finished reading it. And Ruta Visiteca will go through different districts with the bicycle and lend books mainly to children and do reading mediation activities too. So this year we have lent more than 2,000 books. That shows the interest of the people in reading. We started with just a 10% return rate. So only one book of every 10 will come back to our hands. But now we have a 72% return rate. And of course, all of our activities have been articulated with our allies, with the municipalities of Trujillo, of Huanchaco, university associations, women's NGOs such as La Contra. And of course, none of this would have been possible without our amazing team. You can see on the screen, there are some of them in the pictures. And this is a little of what we've been able to achieve until now, and we're striving for more. We firmly believe that this way we can create community, unity, so that we are working towards a better society. And definitely, this will make us move forward towards peace. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
정말 모두가 평등하게 책을 읽기 위한
The presentation had great ideas to provide equal opportunities for everyone to be able to read and access books. As I listened to the presentation, I realized that I live in such a fortunate environment for studying. Yes, that's right. I was surprised when I first came to Korea. There are so many places like libraries and bookstores in Korea where you have access to books very easily. Of course, we all watch YouTube on our cell phones. So everyone watches YouTube, right?
없어요? 아이고.
Well, it seems like some people don't have
우리 딱
YouTube
유튜브로
accounts,
딱 보고 딱 배웠는데
but
이상하게는
you can access information and contents from books that you can't find on YouTube.
그런 콘텐츠는 책 독서를 통해 배울
So
수가 있어서
you should try
정말
reading books because you'll be able to find a lot more value through them.
네. 이제 발표 자체분 중에
Now, 3 of the 5 presenters have already presented.
이번에 발표 들어가기 전에
Before the last 2 presenters, we'll invite Chonbu Bongo, a team composed of Japanese students from Seoul University's language students, who prepared a drum dance performance. Let's welcome them with a big round of applause.
I have
정말 심장이 쿵쿵 뛰는
It was a
신나는
really exciting and heart-pounding performance. Huang, what do you think?
무대 뒤에서 춤을 막
You were dancing behind stage.
진짜 아주 기가 막힌
It was actually really exciting and absolutely amazing.
제가 어학원에 있었을 때
But whether or not you believe it or not,
그래요?
when I was in the language school, I almost joined this team. You may not believe it.
정말 이게
It's
처음
a-
보는 게 아니고 한두 번 봤는데
But it's not my first time watching them perform, but every single time my heart flutters, I get goosebumps. Thank you very much for Cheonbu Bongo team for their dynamic and wonderful performance.
네, 감사합니다. 그러면 바로 네 번째 발표
Shall we move
듣겠습니다.
to
네 번째
our
발표는
fourth presentation?
남태평양에 위치한 사모아에서 청년과
From
학생
Samoa in South
우울증
Pacific,
해소에 대한
who will talk about the topic of relieving stress and depression among young people and students. In modern society these days, there are so many young people who suffer from stress or depression. Those who have a lot of stress, please raise your hand.
여기 굉장히 해피하신 분들
Oh, it seems like a lot of people are very happy here, not as stressed.
손을 많이 흔드시는데
Some people are waving. Please, listen carefully to this presentation.
좀 많이 쌓여서 한국에서는 특히 자살률 1위로 이 문제가 심각하게 되는
This problem is especially serious in Korea, with Korea having the highest rate of suicide in the world. I'm even more curious to discover the content of this presentation. Those who raised their hand for having a lot of stress, and everyone here, let's all give a big round of applause to Ms. Apelu.
Have you ever vented in a negative way? Well, I have. Standing up here has made me realize how much I needed to share my personal story on the reality of negative venting. My mother passed away during my teen years, and I reflected on every moment that I lived, except without her there. I became so angry at the world and feel so much negativity in me. And every time that I vented out my stress, I often found myself yelling, screaming, or even swearing. It has caused my loved ones to feel frightened of me. And at some point, I also became frightened of myself. Venting simply means to express. Oftentimes, we vent to release stress immediately. However, venting can be harmful to you or other people, most especially when we don't have control over our feelings. This wasn't a healthy way to cope with pressure until I started playing judo, a sport categorized under martial arts, training both the body and mind. Today, I'd like to use my voice and my story to share and speak to anyone that is going through the same. According to our world in data, 970 million people have experienced mental health problems. India, with 130 million people, and Australia within the Pacific amounts to 4.8 million people. Meanwhile, in Samoa, a small island nation records 5,803 people affected. Global numbers confirm that millions of people are mentally struggling. However, it was difficult to find specific research on the effects of negative venting, which pushes me to raise awareness on the impacts of this problem. But why is it a problem? To yell, scream, and swear, people become frightened as you radiate negative energy. You become more stressed out talking about your problems only rather than the solution. But this is because we are not taught to vent properly as we encounter stress. Therefore, I like to present a solution to equip ourselves on healthy venting. My project, the Botu Malosi. The name Botu Malosi is derived from the cultural context of a Samoan house. Botu Malosi means a strong pillar, and Samoan houses are supported upright by these pillars. You are like a Samoan house. Our vision is bridging youth to healthy eventing, and our mission is to offer strong pillars to equip, support, and teach our youth healthy eventing. The project offers psychiatric and spiritual services, martial arts trainings, yoga activities, as well as art therapy classes. But how will our solution help? A youth will learn how to become aware, understand, and manage their emotions. Control your breathing, stimulate your focus, learn new and positive perspectives, to simply pause, process, and unwind. This will help you become selective and calm when venting, finding your peace in triggering situations. It's a very effective solution in the long run to avoid future mental health problems and maintain your overall well-being. The following SDGs are supported by the Botuma Losi Project. Number 3, good health and well-being. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Number 10, reduced inequalities. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities. And number 17, partnerships for the goals. Our step-by-step call to action is as follows. Step 1, setting and planning goals. We aim to make all the defined pillars available for our youth to choose from. Our target is from 12 to 26 years old in urban areas, reaching an amount of 40 youths. Step 2, contact people and build partnerships. We have been working closely with YSP Samoa and our team in Asia Pacific too. Partnerships and discussions have been initiated with the Mental Health Unit of the Ministry of Health in Samoa, NGOs such as Salvation Army and Prayer Mothers, Judo Association, Keilas Taekwondo, Tongimoto, yoga mentors, and art therapists over the last 4 to 5 months. The project inspired our multiple partner spites course and offered immediate support in which my team and I are grateful for. Step 3, finding the funds and resources. We have our volunteers from YSP Samoa executive team and Synergy winner prize money from Oceania and Asia Pacific too. If I'm fortunate enough to win again, the prize money will also assist with the project. A trial program will run at the start with our executive team of 4 to test our pillars. We will then calculate an estimated amount of direct and indirect cost, equipment, and resources. This multiplies by the amount of people we aim to reach. The information will help us to write a financial aid proposal. Step 4, spreading awareness. We have been featured in an article by Samoa Country Magazine and Samoa Observer. As this is one of my many strengths, Step 4 will be implemented effectively. We'll also utilize our social media platforms and the numerous networks of our partners. Step 5, to initiate this project. Youth select pillars for their own holistic journey. The project will fund registration fees and any resources they might need. It will run on a timeline of 6 to 12 months. The most dangerous thing about negative venting is that it can contribute severe effects on mental health, causing alienation from your loved ones. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a silent battle, and no one except you, no one, knows that you're fighting it. Get support from us and discover your strongest pillar, your Botuma Losi. Reach out via the details as shown. Also, you are more than welcome to help others find their Botuma Losi by donating, volunteering, or spreading awareness. This has been Vaitoy Whangaapelu, Vaitoy Whangaapelu, presenting to you today from Samoa. Thank you.
네, 고민을 고민으로 끝내지 않고
The
해결하기 위한
presentation not only identified an issue, but also gave a step forward in creating a solution. I should really try out the methods she mentioned in the presentation. What do you think, Mr. Huang? Yes, I actually have a lot of stress too. I have to, I began dieting, but it's very difficult to start, and even while dieting, it's just difficult. But it seems like just stress. This is not muscle, so maybe I should try out the methods. And everyone here also should really think about and try to utilize what you presented and
네,
to
좋습니다.
relieve your
그럼
stress.
이어서 다섯 번째
Thank you.
발표는 듣겠습니다.
Next, we'll
다섯 번째
invite up
발표는
the fifth presenter.
한문화 가족 교육 격차해소를 위한 공부방
The
프로젝트의 주제로
fifth presenter is a presentation on study room project to bridge the education gap in multicultural families from Korea.
힘찬 박수와 함께 맞이하도록 하겠습니다.
Let's see how to create a synergy to approach multicultural issues. Let's welcome up Ms. Park Bo-young.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 다문화 가정에서
Hello,
태어나 자란
my name is Park Bo-young, born and raised from a multicultural family. I'm here to introduce to you Study Room Without Borders program to everyone here.
여러분, 지금 보고 계신
Do you know what this
표가
graph that
어떤
you are
표인지
looking at right now?
네, 모르겠죠.
It's very difficult to understand, right?
대한민국의
This
다문화
is a graph
가정
of the
객수
number of
그래프입니다.
students from multicultural families
현재까지 숫자가
in
쭉
Korea.
증가하는 것을
You can see
보실 수
that numbers is
있는데요.
constantly increasing.
대한민국은 점점 다문화 사회로
Korea
변화되어
is
가고
gradually
있고,
changing into a
다문화
multicultural
가정의
society,
학생들은 최근
and the
6년간
number of
거의
students from
2.4배나
multicultural
증가했다고
families has
합니다.
increased by 2.4 times over the
이러한
past
다문화
6
가정의
years.
부모님들이 느끼는 가장
What is the
큰
biggest difficulty
어려움은
that the parents
자녀의
of
학습
multicultural
지수와
families
학업
encounter?
관리,
The main
정보 부족과
difficulties
자녀를
are
교육하기 위해
difficulty
필요한
in
교육 비용의
tutorial guidance and
부담입니다.
academic management of children, lack of information, and burden of educational expenses for the educating children.
이 표를 보시면
Korea is
실제로
famous for being one of the
대한민국에서
countries where the
대학은
competition
가야
for
한다
college
라고
entrance
생각하는
exam
사람,
is
그리고 사교육이
particularly
필요하다고
fierce.
생각하는
In fact, more than
사람의
65%
비율도
of Koreans
62%가
think
넘습니다.
that one must go to college, and for this
이렇게 치열한 사교육을 통해
purpose,
대학을
more than
진학하는
66%
비율은 전체
think that
70%인데
private education is
그중
necessary.
다문화 학생들은
Through such intense
40%
private
만이
education,
대학에
70% of all
진학하고
students enter college, but only 40% of multicultural students get into college. The average household income in Korea is 5 million won per month, but 89% of the multicultural household are found to be earning less than that. For parents of multicultural families with different cultural and educational environment, raising children in Korean society is a difficult task to handle due to lack of information and economic difficulties. So many parents feel sorry and guilty for their children. Study Room Without Borders is an organization that started to help those who are educationally underprivileged, such as multicultural families and low family incomes. Study Room Without Borders is working to realize the dream of society where everyone can enjoy equal educational opportunities. To be specific, our mission is to realize the 4th and 10th SDG of UN. In order to bridge the educational gap, we support high-quality educational services for multicultural youth who are in the blind spot of education, while aiming to nurture university students with leadership and multicultural sensitivity. Study Room Without Borders, which began in 2007 for content research centered on college students, continues to be a place where children and mentors study together. We are conducting various activities such as study rooms, study camps, online studies, classes, and reading programs. In particular, since 2020, the public interest of the program has been recognized, and a total of 77.8 million Korean won has been supported by the Ministry of Public Administration and Security, and we have been carrying out projects related to study and careers for multicultural families. Study Room Without Borders is conducting a study camp for 7 days during vacation to intensively produce learning effects. After the beginning of COVID pandemic, we have conducted an online study class to form a steady study habit. In our study camp or online study classes, we teach study methods which are the result of long research. We guide and empower students to build self-study habits. The last 3 years, we had 649 youth mentees, 175 college student mentors, and a total of 42,830 hours of study. Considering the average price of 1 hour of tutoring as 15,000 Korean won, the cost of the program can be estimated between 60 to 70 million won. In this way, the Study Room Without Borders can reduce operating costs but find a way to increase learning effect. We are providing educational services to many young people by conducting these programs. The International Family Cultural Center supports our vision and sponsored our program to guide the children of multicultural families in Jeju for their studies and career paths with support of 17 million won as a fruit of love of Jeju Island. As such, I would like to emphasize that we have been carrying out projects in cooperation with the local community. Students like me from multicultural backgrounds who are worried about their studies and careers have formed a planning group for multicultural family teenagers. We hold monthly meetings to conduct research and program planning meetings on a regular basis. Looking at the friends in the planning team, you can feel that not only are they preparing and studying fiercely for their careers, but they are working without giving up on their love for their younger siblings, even amid their busy daily life. Our slogan is also contained in the words, studying together, growing together. As you can see, the goal of studying is not simply to end with individuals, but I'm practicing studying for an altruistic world. And I also felt many things in such activities. During my time as a mentor, I tried to give children the confidence that they could do it, they could achieve it every day. I sincerely thought of the children and wrote my study feedback to them. As the days passed, there were children who told me that they memorized more words, that they had more and more time to focus on their studies, or that their grades have improved slightly. Particularly, I keep in mind one mentee who studied with me during summer study camp this year. This student was lacking self-confidence, but after the study camp, he said that he gained confidence and was motivated to study. He also confided to me not only his words about his study, but also his words about his self-esteem and his worries about life. I told him that while studying matters, he also needs to meet and interact with various people, and such experiences are important in the process of facing such profound questions and giving advice to children. I felt that I could be some help to them, and I come to sincerely wanting to support them so that they could move towards their goal and dreams. What I would like to remember from the sharing of my small experience at Study Room Without Borders is that it is not only those with special talents and a lot of wealth who should think of their neighbors in need. I hope that you young people like me can step forward together and give dreams and hopes to other young people and teenagers around the world, just as if they were siblings. We're planning to go to the Philippines this winter vacation to do educational volunteer work for children. We hope that our efforts to bridge the educational gap will not just stay in Korea, but will spread out to the world and share even a little bit with children in underdeveloped countries who are not receiving educational opportunities. Study Room Without Borders has been active until now, but when I think about the future, I see even greater hope. We ask for your interest and love so that this project, which help young people studying happily together, seriously think about their career and grow together and can continue to develop. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a presentation containing practice for multicultural families to study together and grow together. Yujong, how did you feel? If I was a little younger, I would have entered the study room right away. I'm also from a multicultural family, so I wonder if I could have grown even more if I studied and learned in communities like this. It seems like it's a very good project. Now we have listened to all 5 presentations. You can feel from their presentation that they went through a lot of thoughts and a lot of planning to be able to come up with projects. So let us give a big round of applause to all the presenters. Thank you very much. Now it is time for a special lecture. As one of the judges, Mr. Hee-sung Hwang, the CEO of Sustainable Coffee Lab. Mr. Hwang has been involved in fair trade campaigns and advocacy activities dedicated to education as a head of Empathy Marketing Group at Beautiful Coffee. He became interested in coffee and learned and mastered the coffee industry and technology.
계신
Let us give a big round of applause
커피 전문가
to
황희성
Mr.
대표님
Hwang
모시도록 하겠습니다. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
on stage for a special lecture.
Good morning, everyone. And I was quite tense listening to all the 5 presentations, but my name is Hwang Hee-sung. I've made many presentations about coffee, but when I saw the presentations from the 5 other presenters, and also I'm really excited to be standing here and I can feel the energy of the youth, and the theme for the 2022 Synergy International is Youth in Action for Peace and Sustainable Development. I would like to thank you for inviting me. It is an honor to be here with you, and I'm also a youth who is also worrying about the future, and I've been thinking about the sustainable coffee trade for the past 12 years. I would like to present briefly, and I'm the CEO of a sustainable coffee lab, and this is Korea's first fair trade foundation called Beautiful Coffee, and we've established a new business, a platform centering on sustainable coffee development and production. And right now around the world, 80% of the coffee is harvested in about 25 million smallholders produce about 70 to 80% of the world's coffee, and more than 125 million people depend on coffee for sustainable livelihoods. And right now, 16% of the coffee production was produced by a few number of people, but as time passed, because of capitalism and also with imbalances in trade and also the power of multinational corporations, right now only 5 companies control 45% of all roasting, and 3 companies account for half of the green coffee trading volume. And therefore, when we look at to provide better conditions for business, and also to provide better living conditions and fair wages for the producers, we are working to focus on 10 fair trade principles, and we are implementing these 10 principles. In particular, currently, among small coffee producers, there are a particular demographic that are particularly affected by these problems. These are women and young people who are suffering also from the issues related to climate change. And women invest about 70% of the labor force in coffee production, but they are not part of the decision-making process, and they cannot receive technical or medical assistance. Second, the young people, our future generations, are no longer producing coffee. They do not want to be engaged in coffee production anymore. And this problem is expanding from the locales to the cities and internationally. And also we can see that the locales are really being deserted. And the last problem is really climate change. This is a great challenge throughout coffee production. In particular, for small coffee production farmers, climate change is a major issue. According to experts, by 2050, half of the coffee-producing regions of the world will disappear. And when we look at the CO2 production, 25 or 26% of greenhouse gases come from agriculture and the food sector, and greenhouse gases are one of the main culprits of climate change. Furthermore, as mentioned, agriculture and food sectors account for 1/4 of all greenhouse gases, and by 2050 half of the production of green coffee will disappear, and this will affect 25 million small farmers who account for 80% of the coffee production. In other words, the production of coffee by small farmers will decrease significantly. Therefore, from production to manufacturing and also to distribution, how can we reduce greenhouse gases? We need to produce carbon-neutral coffee. And we need to have a fair trade coffee, as well as various major companies have also decided that they want to produce carbon-neutral coffee. And right now, many issues such as discrimination against women and youth and climate change are all issues that are affecting the coffee production, and we are producing coffee that solves these problems, that aims to resolve these problems, and this coffee is under the brand Solve. And also right now the sustainable coffee lab that I'm leading is data-driven. Therefore, people don't just purchase fair trade coffee, but also coffee produced into carbon-neutral environments, but also we are sharing equipment and technology, and we are increasing connectivity and cooperation between producers, manufacturers, and consumers so that we can implement a sustainable production and consumption. And this also includes the use of the latest technology. And Eggstone is a domestic venture company, and through this technology we are roasting coffee even more, and we are developing even higher quality coffee, and not just to those who enjoy drinking coffee, but also to small-scale farmers. This Eggstone project helps them to implement better technologies to raise the value-added proposition of their products. Furthermore, fair trade coffee, and also through sharing technology about roasting production, we are also sharing with others, and by sharing this information with consumers, we want to contribute to the development of sustainable coffee production. And this is the conclusion I want to share. This is what Antonio Guterres, the current Secretary General of the United Nations, has shared. We have a choice: collective action or collective suicide. It is in our hands. Today we are speaking about peace and sustainable development. What choice will we make today? Right now, at this moment, in our respective positions, let us rise and act. Thank you very much for your attention.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for the special lecture. Let us give another round of applause to Mr. Hwang Yi-sung for his special lecture. And now the time has come for us to announce the finalists and to have the award ceremony. We have, before announcing the winners, first we'll hear the different assessment from the panel of judges. Dr. Yoon will give some comments. Thank you very much. I'm participating here with a heart of learning, and I listened to the presentations from the regional champions, and I think everyone listened carefully, and I would like to ask some testimony. So one person said no. How was it? First, I was very happy to listen to the presentations of the elders. I gave him a snack. I felt hope. You felt hope? Yes, good. The reason I'm asking is because, of course, the position, the theme, and of course the relation to the theme, which is the action of the youth for peace and sustainable development. We want to connect to peace. The presentations were important, but we needed to know how much inspiration are we giving to future generations. And the 5 presentations were great. First, Mr. Kawa Kengo, the position, everything was perfect. And this is a very difficult topic, but in America right now, with the Unity Concert and various other initiatives, he spoke from experience. that was more inspiring. And one additional idea I would like to suggest is that for the DMZ Peace Park, it'd be good to have a discussion about establishing the 50th UN office in the DMZ. That would make it more meaningful. The presentation was perfect. From DR Congo, I think it's good that the MC and the DR Congo presentation did not produce. Then Huang, if Huang is still the MC, then they will win. And Octave gave a great presentation about the football open challenge. Right now there's the Qatar World Cup, but more than the Olympics, the World Cup has more interest and popularity, because football moves the heart of people, and the ball is round, therefore people are connected. And even the founders focused on football through Peace Cup, but youth around the world, and all civil and global citizens are connected and to football. One suggestion I would like to make is that in DR Congo, I've visited Africa several times, but this project from DR Congo, if it could connect to the rest of the world, that would be wonderful. The third presentation by Andrea, she came from Peru, and reading is not easy. It can be kind of a boring topic, but the way she approached it was creative and refreshing. It was a wonderful presentation. But one suggestion I want to make is that when it comes to reading, how can we connect it to an actual role of the youth? And also it's good to also connect with digital reading, because we live in a digital age, so this would be a good suggestion. The fourth presentation by Apelu from Samoa. Overall, it was a wonderful presentation. These days I'm also feeling particularly stressed. I need to watch Synergy comfortably, but I need to give the assessment, so this is very stressful. And but I really felt that this is what stress feels like, and it's one of the major ailments in modern society. And yoga or judo or even art therapy, the Putu Malusi, with that pillar, we can interpret this. This was wonderful. One suggestion, it would be good to, if this stress is a universal problem, so this should not be limited to Samoa, but also expand it to the world, and also suggest it as one of the SDG solutions to the United Nations. And lastly, Park Boyoung, she spoke about the study rooms, and her presentation, the theme, the tone, everything was perfect. In particular in Korea, in America, multiculturalism is not even used, because America is a multicultural society, but in Korea we had a one culture society before, but now we're moving towards a multicultural society. And she gave a very detailed project result, and also their mentoree program is very meaningful, and it would be good to have it as one of the main projects of YSP. Presentation was excellent. The sixth presentation by Mr. Hwang Lee-sung, I would like to give you the first prize, even though you're not a finalist. One thing that I want to really emphasize is that petrol is the first natural resource. The second natural resource is coffee, and also any country that is 25 degrees below the above and below the equator, they are all part of the coffee belt. And not just the production, the roasting, we need to carry this coffee as a continental project. There are nations that wanted to donate maybe 1 million square meters to cultivate coffee. But right now, for example, with regards to petrol, there's OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, so there needs to be kind of an association of coffee producing nations, and if the youth can really implement this sustainable development of coffee, that would be wonderful. I think this was wonderful. But please understand, Mr. Huang, that this is a special lecture, so I want to thank all the 5 presenters and 5 finalists. And Huang, don't be the MC next year because we'll have more DR Congo representatives. And next time it would be good to have a Q&A with participants, and that would make it more lively and dynamic. And I'm sure there are many ideas within the 7-minute presentation that would benefit from Q&As with the audience. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much. Let us give another round of applause to Dr. Yoon for his evaluation. And now the time has come to announce the winners. First, we will have 2 finalists, 2 winners. Mr. Kim Dong-yeon will come on stage to announce the winners. Are you ready? The 2022 Synergy winners are Park Bo-young of Korea and Kengo from the US. Let us welcome the 2 winners on the stage.
네, 사진 촬영하겠습니다. 해피.
We'll take a group photo. Happy everyone. Thank you very much. So the winners will now briefly stand on the one side of the stage. And now we will announce the grand prize winner. Dr. Yoon will announce the grand prize winner. So the grand prize winner will be... Are you ready? The grand prize winner is... It is Apalu from Samoa. Let us welcome her on the stage. We'll take a group photo. Happy. Look at the camera. Happy. Thank you. And now all the winners will all come on stage and we'll take a group photo together. Let's take a group photo together. Happy.
감사합니다. 네, 기념 촬영해 주신 윤용호 세계본부장님.
Thank you very much everyone for your awarding of the prizes.
네, 여러분.
And also we had the grand prize, we had the winner, and we also had 2 amazing prizes, 2 presentations. Therefore, we have Dr. Yoon would like to present a special prize, and let us give a prize also to the other teams.
네, 여러분.
And now we've come to the end of the 2022 Synergy conference. Aren't you sad? And now we'd like to greet you as we say goodbye. However, today's conference is not the end. Next year in 2023 also will continue, and I hope that many of you can participate, can join, and also share your projects. See you next year. Next, you are the presenters for next year, and we hope that the world of lasting peace can be realized next year. And let us all participate in the finale performance. Let us all dance. Let's go together, everyone. Please rise and let us dance. Let's go together. Are you ready? Are you ready?
네, 아주 좋습니다. 좋습니다. 자, 그러면 저희는 시작하면
When we say let's go, please shout let's go together. Are you ready?
준비되시나요?
Are you ready?
자, 그러면 시작.
Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Yeah, you ready for this? G20 Soul 2010. A shout out to the world, a calling for your soul. A time to chill, a time to love. Don't mind the haters, we go together. Let's go.
It all alone, but you know we always here for you. Even though you thought it's okay, we gonna wait for you. Go on, get started. Don't act like you don't want it. Let's get together. Come on, everybody, let's go. Some days I don't wanna go on. Let's go. Some nights I don't wanna be strong. Let's go. But when I can hear your voice, I can wake up, I can start it.
Now we are one. We gonna get together now. So put your hands together. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's try it now. Let's start it now. So put your hands together. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Sometimes we feel alone, sometimes we feel afraid. But you and me together, we can do anything. That's alright. Smile and say it's alright. Let's get together. Come on, everybody, let's go. Some days I don't wanna go on. Let's go. Some nights I don't wanna be strong. Let's go. But when I can hear your voice, I can wake up, I can start it.
Now we are one. We gonna get together now. So put your hands together. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's rise to love. Sing it with me. Let's start it now. So put your hands together. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go, go, go.
On and on and on, we're gonna celebrate. On and on and on, we're gonna party. On and on and on, we're gonna make it.
Everyone, tonight, everything's alright now. Let's go. Now we are one.